Hi everyone, so in today's video I'm going to be sharing a few tips and tools that can help you get through these uncertain times that we're all living. And because uncertainty is hard for all of us, we will need to do a few exercises and tools to help us all get through. And the tools that I'm going to share with you all, I've actually made a list of them, are tools that I have personally used and have helped me throughout my journey, whether it's with panic attacks, whether it's with anxiety, whether it's going through grief, going through difficult phases. Now, a point that I wanted to highlight for you all is that we are all grieving the losses of our old life. The old life as we knew it and the normal life has gone overnight and has disappeared, and some of us are adapting to a new way of living. That doesn't mean we're going to stay living the way we are right now. It just means that we're transitioning to a change and to a different life. It's kind of like how 9/11 changed the world, and traveling and airports were never the same after 9/11. So the faster we can accept that our old lives are gone, and the faster we can go through the 5 stages of grief. And some people say there are 6 stages of grief. There are 5 stages of grief, and we go through them differently. There's no timeline for the stages of grief. So there's denial, there's the anger, there's the depression, and then eventually there's the acceptance. So I highly recommend that you look up, do some research on the 5 stages of grief. If you've never grieved anything in your life, then this might be the first time for you to grieve. If you've grieved something like the loss of a parent, the loss of a child, maybe you've lived in a war, maybe you've lost your money overnight, then you might be familiar with grief, and that doesn't mean it makes things easier. However, you're just familiar with it. Also, if people have gone through anxiety, if they've gone through panic attacks, if they've gone through their own struggle with mental health, whether it's depression, whether it's their own unique journey of going through their story, they will be familiar with this, which means that they have a bit more resilience and their muscles are already trained for this. Doesn't mean it makes it easier, it just means that they know this feeling, and they might have tools which they've helped themselves with. Anyways, let's go to the first tool. So the first tool is EFT. EFT is called Emotional Freedom Technique. You can also look it up online, and I'm just going to show you quickly in this video how you can tap on different points. There's different meridian points where you can tap. So this one is called the karate chop, and you can start tapping by saying, even though I feel tightness in my chest, despite feeling this tightness in my chest, and despite the worry and the anxiety, I love and accept myself. And then you go to the forehead. So despite the anxiety and the worry I'm going through, I love and accept myself. I feel anxious right now, and I feel tightness in my chest, and the uncertainty is worrying me. Not knowing what's happening next is worrying and scary. But despite all of that, I love and accept myself. I feel tightness in my chest, but despite this tightness, I love and accept myself. I feel some heaviness on my chest. I feel anxious, but despite all of that, I love and accept myself. I worry about what's going to happen. I worry for the world. I worry for my loved ones. I worry about the well-being of my family members. But despite all of that, I accept myself. Then the thymus, this area is really important. So if you can tap here, you can do this in the morning. You can tap here in the morning. Despite feeling worried, despite feeling anxious, I love and accept myself. I love and accept myself despite all the worry, despite the anxiety. The top of the head. So despite all my feelings, despite what anxiety comes up, despite the tightness in my chest, I love and accept myself. So right here, beside your bra strap for women, despite feeling worried, despite feeling anxious, I love and accept myself. And now your wrists together. So despite feeling worried, despite feeling anxious, I love and accept myself. And then you just close your eyes, place your palms flat open on your lap, on your legs, and just breathe in. I release my anxiety. I release the anxiety. So it's not your anxiety. So there's no need to say my anxiety. I release the anxiety. I release the worries. I surrender all my worries. I'm divinely guided and the universe has my back. And take a deep breath in. Joining your palms, rubbing your palms together, sending this healing energy to the top of your head, your face, and your shoulders. Okay, so that's the first tool, and it's called EFT. You can look it up online. Now, the second tool is a tool to relax your vagus nerve. Your vagus nerve is your 10th sacrocranial nerve, and it has got to do, it's connected to the fight or flight. So it's the cortisol hormone, and it's what spikes when we're worried. So when we feel worry, when we feel anxiety, the cortisol is spiked. So fight, flight, fear increases. And this tool is really important for regulating the vagus nerve. I highly recommend that you read up and you research on the vagus nerve. So this tool is basically a chant where you breathe in and then you make a noise of voo. So you breathe out as you exhale and you make the sound voo, like V-O-O. So voo. And you extend the exhale for as long as you can. You can do this around 3, 4, 5, as many times, and then check in with your body to see the intensity. The way you can measure the intensity of the anxiety or the worry or the tightness or any feelings you might be going through right now is to put a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being the lowest, 10 being the highest. So measure when you start this exercise or this tool, and measure once you stop. Once you feel better, you can stop this chant or this exercise. The third tool is a tool that really helps, and it's a mudra you can teach your kids. So you start with this finger and you say, peace begins with me. So if you have kids, if you have your own kids, or if you have nephews or nieces, you can teach this to them. So peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. Peace begins with me. And so there are nerve endings here on the tips of our fingers, like reflexology in the feet. And when you do that, it also calms down your central nervous system and your peripheral nervous system. The next tool that I wanted to share with you is to have a conversation with your thoughts. So when you get those thoughts, any negative mind chatter, to pause yourself, almost call them bluff, and allow yourself to feel whatever you're feeling. So rather than resisting or pushing the emotions, and I know very well that those emotions are not super nice. Nobody wants to feel anxiety or worry or uncertainty, and it's pretty frightening and scary. However, the more you can accept those feelings, let them come, just watch them like an observer and let them go. So almost have a dialogue with those thoughts. If you're having any tightness or heaviness or anxiety or worry, ask yourself, where is it in my body? Where am I feeling this? And have a talk with it. So I wrote some questions here. So ask yourself, what is the fear that I have? What is the heaviness or the anxiety that I have? And then remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. So I am not my thoughts. I am not this body. Remember that we are light beings. We are divine souls having a human experience. We are not this physical body, and we are not our thoughts. We are not our traumas. We are not what's happening to us, and we are not just physically limited to this third dimension or this 3D reality that we're in. We are so much more. Our souls are limitless, and we will get through this. So forgive yourself for having those thoughts. Just let them go. Welcome them. Allow them to come. Ask them where they are in your body, and remind yourself that you are not your thoughts. Just witness it and let them be. And ask yourself where you fear it, where you feel it, where you feel the fear, or where you feel the anxiety or the worry. And remind yourself that you are not those thoughts. You're not your body, and I'm not limited to this third dimensional body or this 3D reality. I'm so much more. So this is a tip that has really, a tool that has really helped me, because the more you repeat to yourself, I am safe in this moment. I have everything I need in this moment. All is well in this moment. I am fine. I'm great. I'm doing well. I have running water. I have electricity. I have the food I need. I have the clothes I need. My family's with me. My family's well. you remind yourself of the present moment. You're creating new neural pathways. And you can look up Dr. Joe Dispenza. He talks a lot about reprogramming the mind and creating those new neural pathways in the brain, so new thought forms, new ways of thinking, so that we can get through this phase of uncertainty that we're all living together. And remember that we're all together in this, so everyone on this planet is for once going through the same thing. Another tip is to interrupt the inner dialogue and extend your vision beyond this moment that you're having, that anxiety or the worry or the tightness or the lack of breath, not being able to breathe. I also recommend meditating. I can also recommend to you a lymphatic drainage daily, where you tap your entire body. So you tap your whole body, you tap the bottom of your arm, you can tap your chest, your back, your legs, tap all of your legs, tap your head. And you can also do alternate nose breathing. So you block one side and you use your ring finger and your pinky to breathe from the other side. So you close one side and you inhale, and then you block the other side, you exhale, and then you take a breath in. So if you'd like more tips on breath work, send me a direct message, and I'll share some videos specifically tailored for breath work. I want you to remember that you're not your thoughts, you're not this experience. We are so much more than this experience. There's a lot of spiritual teachers and wellness gurus or professionals that are sharing work and tips to help us get through what we're going through. Now, each person will react differently to what we're going through. A lot of people are still in denial. Denial is a coping mechanism, and there's something in psychology called the normalcy bias. So some people will continue to act like life is normal. They'll continue doing the normal things and acting out like business as usual. It's just a protection mechanism. They're just protecting themselves before mourning the loss or the death of the old life. And it's just that we are different, so we go through things differently, we deal with things differently, we see things differently, we're not all the same. So each one will have a different, him or her will have a different reaction. They'll have different ways of dealing with what we're all currently living. And just remember that the universe, the creator, source always has our back, and that we are always guided. We are going through what we're going through for a reason. It's not a coincidence that we're going through this. Humanity is undergoing huge shifts and changes, and great changes are coming upon us, despite what this uncertainty makes us feel, not knowing, and the fear of the bad things happening and the catastrophes coming. That cannot be farther from the truth. This is actually beneficial for all of us. Normal and the old was not working, clearly, especially for the environment, especially for our mental health, for our soul. Things were way too fast, in my opinion, and they were way too fast in the things that were not really just feeding our soul and helping us evolve and grow as beings of light. So it's finally all gonna change. It's actually changing as you hear this video and as I record this video. So the best way to adapt to change is to accept it. Acceptance doesn't mean you approve of it. However, it just means that you stop fighting and resisting it. And whoever is going through issues right now will realize, if they're brave enough to realize, that they had these issues even before this pandemic or this thing came up. So our issues are just going to be magnified. Anything we haven't dealt with before this pandemic is just going to be magnified, and it's going to be brought to the surface, because this is a time for change, and this is a time for us to really go inwards, to transform, to evolve, and to grow. This is a time for growth. This is the time for us to really face the truth of who we are, rather than just run and avoid it or hide from it. So on that note, I'm going to end this video, and I really trust that these tools help you. They've helped me a lot personally along my journey. Oh, one more tool that I forgot to add is placing your right hand on your forehead and your left hand on your heart, and then swapping. So right hand on your solar plexus, right hand on your solar plexus, left hand on your heart. So you start with your forehead, then you go down to your solar plexus. You can close your eyes, take a few breaths, and exhale, and place your hand on your solar plexus, and then placing both palms together. This balances the left and right side of your brain, so you can rub your palms, balancing your feminine and your masculine energy. And you can place both hands on your solar plexus, and you can breathe in and breathe out, and inhale and exhale. And what you can ask yourself is, what am I learning from this phase? What is this phase in my life teaching me? What are these changes teaching me? So if the tightness and the anxiety and the fear and the worry were to be teaching me something, what are they teaching me? What messages do they have for me? How can I do things differently? What areas of my life can I evolve in or on? How can I improve? How can I expand my consciousness? And this is definitely a call for us all to evolve and expand. Sending you lots of love. If you have any questions, send them to me in a direct message and I will get back to you.